My mom is telling the horrific stories.
Right now, we are hearing from one of the Israeli hostages just freed by Hamas.
The San Diego County Board of Supervisors will vote on a potential homeless encampment ban that could affect certain areas in the San Diego County. What critics have to say about it.
The terror I think so many of us parents feel.
All seems to be political theater.
How you can weigh in on a proposed gun safety amendment this morning.
It's night and day. I saw kids' faces again.
Should schools be phone free?
Temperatures are warming up a bit and skies are clearing out following the rain from yesterday. We'll talk about how warm the rest of your week could get. It's 6 a.m. on Tuesday, October 24th, and you're up with CBS 8.
My mom is saying that she was taken on the back of a motorbike. While she was being taken, she was hit by sticks.
This morning, we're hearing from one of two Israeli hostages who was released by Hamas. She says she went through hell. Thanks for joining us at 6 a.m., everyone. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Neda Irampour. 85-year-old Yocheved Lifshitz and 79-year-old Nurit Cooper were taken hostage during the deadly October 7th Hamas raids, along with their husbands who are still being held.
Overnight, Hamas released a video showing the women before their release. Lifshitz says a swarm of people came through the fence during the Hamas attack, and when they were taken, there was a huge network of tunnels that looked like a spider web. At least 200 other hostages are still being held right now.
This morning, a spokesman for Israel's military says they are, quote, ready and determined for this next stage of war. Israel is escalating its bombardment, and now there are warnings for evacuations in northern Gaza ahead of an expected ground invasion. Two sources telling CBS News the White House has pushed Israel to delay its invasion to allow more time for the release of hostages and for the distribution of aid in Gaza. Yesterday, President Joe Biden saying hostages should be released before any ceasefire talks. Today, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is expected at the United Nations as the UN Security Council discusses this war. And we are tracking the deadly impact of this war. More than 1,400 Israelis were killed in that initial attack by Hamas. Over 5,000 people in Gaza have been killed by retaliatory airstrikes. One aid agency says that includes 2,000 children. The number of Americans killed is at least 32.
Our other top story here on this Tuesday: in 3 hours, the San Diego County Board of Supervisors will consider a county-wide homeless encampment ban.
This ban would be similar to the ones recently passed in the cities of San Diego and Poway. CBS 8's Regina Urita joining us live outside the County Administration Center to tell us about this proposal. They'll be voting on it this morning, right, Regina?
Yeah, that's correct. And Supervisor Anderson is the one that's pushing for that ordinance. He says it's necessary in order to handle the homelessness crisis happening in the area. Now, not too long ago, the county helped clear up a homeless encampment site in El Cajon and in Santee, but Anderson wants more to be done. He believes an encampment ban could help clear up illegal camping sites on a wider scale. So according to Supervisor Anderson's report, the ban will allow law enforcement to remove individuals staying in encampments in unincorporated areas of San Diego County. It will also allow county staff and deputies to remove property stored on public property in hopes of protecting vacant property, such as the San Diego River corridor, from fire and pollution. In a recent statement to CBS 8, Supervisor Anderson says, in part, quote, "I campaigned on the promise to fix homelessness, and that's what I have been laser focused on doing. I'm not interested in upholding the status quo." Anderson is also pushing for the county to look into establishing partnerships with other jurisdictions in hopes of increasing shelter space and resources for unsheltered people throughout San Diego County. Now, however, there are critics, and they argue that banning people from living on the streets without adequate shelter space only makes matters worse. Now, back here live, as mentioned before, the city of San Diego implemented the camping ban back in July, and Poway followed suit, with Chula Vista, Encinitas, and El Cajon still considering one of their own. As for the meeting here, it will take place at 9 a.m. and we'll be sure to be bringing you the latest as more details come. So stick with CBS 8. For now, I'm outside of the County Administrative Building. Regina Urita, CBS 8.
Regina, thank you. Also this morning, the Board of Supervisors will discuss a proposal that would call for the federal government to raise the minimum age to buy a gun in the U.S. from 18 to 21. Governor Gavin Newsom proposed adding the Right to Safety Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in June. It would include background checks for all gun purchases and ban civilians from buying assault weapons. Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer wants the county to pass a resolution of support.
A lot of schools have metal detectors. They practice lockdown drills. I mean, the terror I think so many of us parents feel of, not being sure that your kids are safe when you leave them at school.
Michael Schwartz with the San Diego County Gun Owners Association is against it.
It all seems to be political theater. I don't think this thing I don't think it's going to pass tomorrow. And I certainly don't think that they're going to have any kind of support across most of the country that will allow them to pass a 28th Amendment.
The meeting starts at 9 a.m. This morning, the man accused of setting a fire at a Hillcrest bar is expected to make his first court appearance. 38-year-old Ryan Habrel was arrested Friday. The fire happened last week at Gossip Grill on University Avenue. Gossip Grill, a lesbian bar, but we're told this is not being investigated as a hate crime. Even though the business has some damage, they are still open. And this morning, a woman is back home after she was trapped in a cave for 16 hours. The sheriff's department says the woman was exploring Thunder Canyon Caves and Boulevard on Saturday when she got wedged in a gap about a foot wide. Rescue crews used rope mechanisms to get her out and kept her warm with blankets to prevent hypothermia. A CAL FIRE helicopter airlifted her to a different location where medics treated her for scrapes, bruises, and exhaustion.
And now this morning, pharmacy and lab workers from a long-term care facility in University Heights are on strike. Kindred hospital workers say they are not paid enough, and it's causing a severe staffing shortage. Pharmacy workers and lab workers unionized in February. They say the hospital is not giving them market rate raises. Kindred Hospital says it submitted a formal proposal to the lab workers union and it has not heard back. The hospital says the 3-day strike is not affecting patient care. This morning we are learning more about El Niño's impact on San Diego. Now, yesterday we told you El Niño expected to bring wetter than normal conditions. It could stick around even through the spring of next year, but it's still too soon to say exactly what areas will see more rainfall in California. We spoke with the National Weather Service.
Are we going to get 5 storms or are we going to get 13 atmospheric rivers like we did last year? Last year was record wet, even in San Diego. Palomar Mountain had 70 inches of rain, the most ever.
Yeah, that was a pretty intense year during La Nina. So the National Weather Service will have another forecast update right around Thanksgiving to kind of predict what the winter will be like. But El Niño's, I mean, could be hit or miss. Right. It just depends. Right. It could be central, northern California, not so much San Diego.
Yeah, keep in mind, we just saw 2 winters in one for last year.
That's true. Yeah.
So double, like you heard Alex say. So we'll see where we go. It's a good kind of guidance, general guidance, but it doesn't always come to fruition, the way we expect it to.
Crisp fall start here today.
Fall start,
Tuesday, right?
Seems like as the kids are going to head out a week from today for trick-or-treating, it could be chilly in that overnight stretch. So 50s is mainly what we're going to be looking at. We start off the morning with 50s today. Dry skies, so the clouds that we started off yesterday with have left us, and now we're starting to see much clearer, drier, more mild conditions. We're starting to get some indication of that sunrise, but we're still going to be waiting another about 45 minutes or so until that light is really peeking through the clouds and peeking really from the horizon. So we start off the day with clearer skies. Offshore flow is the direction of that wind, which is the primary reason why we don't have as many clouds on hand. Temperatures this afternoon in turn will be allowed to warm up pretty nicely. Low 70s along our coastline, mid 70s inland, very much closer to average. We're not exactly going to reach average today. We're still staying in that cooler than average range, but we'll at least get sunshine in 70s. Really can't ask for a better Tuesday than that. Live look outside. This is that sunrise from Mount Soledad, so you can kind of start to make out the beginning phase, the twilight period ahead of sunrise. 59 degrees right now. Winds are calm. Pressure starting to build following the exit of that trough of low pressure. So now that that area of lowest pressure is starting to exit to our east, we'll see pressure rise. It's just that we don't have any magnificent ridge of high pressure, for example, to warm us up over the next several days. So in turn, we're going to stay in that cooler than average range. Here's the 5-day forecast. Today seems to be kind of that standout warmer, clearer day because of those offshore winds. Offshore winds are directing warm, dry air from the east as opposed to the cool, moist air from the coast. So we'll warm up today to about the mid-70s. From Wednesday through the upcoming weekend, we're going to stay mainly in that low to mid-70 range with partly cloudy skies each day. Let's take a look at what's going on as far as your drive times out the door. So far, things are smooth sailing. 5 southbound, 78 westbound, 52 westbound. Not a lot of trouble as far as your drive times go. We'll be checking in on these all morning. We're also going to check in on your border wait times as you start off the day. San Ysidro Port of Entry right now, 100-minute wait, so you're going to be waiting about an hour 40 to get across the border in San Ysidro. Otay Mesa Port of Entry, about an hour 25 or so, give or take. And you can always head to cbs8.com/traffic. That'll give you more info on any crashes and collisions in San Diego County. Ned Air, back to you.
Thank you so much, Evan. And now still ahead, super fog, this rare phenomenon that caused a crash involving 100 cars and semi-trucks.
We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit.
A man tries to shut down a plane mid-air. Why he was in the cockpit in the first place. Plus, $500,000 in cash or lunch with Jay-Z. The rapper weighs in on this viral debate.